My name is Kenny Williams. I'm 46 years old, a librarian in a small Pennsylvania town. I've been married to David for 19 years and we have a daughter, Chloe. She's 17. That morning started like every other morning. I made coffee. I checked my phone. I heard Chloe upstairs getting ready for school. I was thinking about the pile of returned books waiting for me at work. Normal thoughts, ordinary concerns. Then something exploded inside my head. The pain was instant and absolute, like nothing I'd ever felt before. I remember my knees hitting the linoleum floor. I remember my coffee mug shattering. Then nothing, except it wasn't nothing. I was floating above my body. I could see myself lying there on that kitchen floor, one hand still reaching toward the counter like I'd been trying to catch myself. The scene was so strange, so impossible. That's me down there, I thought, but I'm up here. How can I be in two places? Then I heard footsteps on the stairs. Chloe came around the corner into the kitchen, backpack over her shoulder, earbuds in. I watched her face change when she saw me. The color drained out of it. She dropped her backpack and fell to her knees beside my body, screaming my name. I tried to call out to her. "Mom, I'm right here. I'm okay. Look up." But she couldn't hear me. She was pulling out her phone, her hands shaking so badly she could barely dial. She was crying, begging me to wake up, and I couldn't touch her. I couldn't comfort my own daughter in the worst moment of her life. The helplessness was crushing. But then something shifted. The kitchen started to fade. The walls, the cabinets, Chloe's face, all of it dissolved into this gray mist. I wasn't scared anymore. I was moving towards something, towards someone, and I wanted to go. I can't describe Jesus the way you want me to. He wasn't just a man standing there in robes like in the paintings. He was presence. He was light and warmth and knowing. The love that came from him was so complete, so pure, it made every love I'd ever felt seem like a weak echo of the real thing. When he looked at me, he saw everything. Every thought I'd ever hidden, every secret shame, every selfish intention, every failure. And he loved me anyway, not despite knowing everything, but because he knew everything. There was no pretending, no hiding, no performing. He knew me completely and I was completely accepted. I wanted to stay in that love forever, just rest in it. But he had something to show me first. He didn't speak with words exactly, but I heard him clearly inside my mind, inside my heart. He said he had 3 questions for me. The first question broke me open. Did you learn to receive love? Suddenly I was watching my life like scenes from a movie. I saw David bringing me flowers on our anniversary 2 years ago. They were beautiful, pink roses, my favorite. I could see the hope in his eyes when he handed them to me. I saw myself smile, say thank you, then immediately ask how much they cost. I watched his face fall when I said we couldn't afford to waste money on flowers when the car needed new tires, and the water heater was making that noise. He just wanted to do something nice for me, and I'd turned it into a lecture about our budget. More scenes came. David telling me I looked beautiful, me rolling my eyes, pointing out my gray roots and the weight I'd gained. My sister offering to watch Chloe so I could take a weekend for myself. Me insisting I was fine, I didn't need a break, I could handle everything. Friends at church trying to bring us meals when David's father died. Me turning them away at the door, saying we were managing just fine. I watched myself reject compliment after compliment, offer after offer. Every time someone tried to give me something, to care for me, to show me love, I had a reason why it wasn't necessary, why I didn't need it, why they shouldn't bother. I'd spent my whole life building walls. I called it being independent. I called it being strong. I told myself I was just being practical, not wanting to burden anyone. But Jesus showed me what it really was. Pride, fear. I was terrified of needing anyone, terrified of being vulnerable. So I rejected every expression of love that people tried to give me. And I told myself I was being noble. And then he showed me something that hurt even worse. He showed me all the times he'd tried to love me, and I'd pushed him away too. Every sunset I was too busy to notice. Every unexpected check that arrived exactly when we needed it, and I dismissed it as luck or coincidence. Every quiet moment when he was there waiting for me, and I filled it with noise and worry and endless scrolling on my phone instead of just being still. Just receiving his presence. "Kenny," he said, and I felt the weight of my name in his voice. You cannot receive what you believe you don't deserve. I wept, because I'd spent 46 years refusing love while desperately wanting it. I'd been starving myself at a banquet, standing outside with my face pressed to the window, insisting I wasn't hungry. All that love from David, from Chloe, from friends, from God himself, and I'd blocked it all because somewhere deep down I didn't believe I was worthy of it. The second question came before I'd even recovered from the first. What did you do with the pain I allowed? I didn't understand at first. Then I saw myself at 24, working my first library job after college. My boss was a woman named Margaret. She was cruel in small, deliberate ways. She humiliated me in front of patrons. She criticized everything I did, every decision I made. She made me feel stupid and incompetent. I dreaded going to work every single day. I saw myself crying in my car during lunch breaks. I saw the anxiety that started to creep into everything. The self-doubt she planted in me that grew roots. I'd eventually left that job, but I'd carried those wounds with me for years. They'd made me hesitant to speak up, to trust my own judgment, to believe in my abilities. Then Jesus showed me something I'd completely forgotten. 3 years after leaving that job, I was working at a different library. A young man came in one afternoon. He was maybe 22, 23. He sat at a table near my desk with his head in his hands. After a while, I noticed he was crying quietly. I glanced at him several times. I could see he was struggling. At one point, he pulled out his phone and stared at an email. His hands were shaking. I didn't know what it said, but watching him, I knew. I knew that feeling, that devastation, that sense that everything was falling apart and you were the problem. Something in me recognized his pain because I'd felt it too. With Margaret. In that car during those lunch breaks, wondering if I was really as worthless as I felt. But I said nothing to him. I went back to shelving books. I straightened displays. I helped other patrons. I let him sit there alone with his pain. After about an hour, he left. I never saw him again. Jesus showed me that moment in full color, and I understood what I'd done. I'd had the exact tools to help that young man. I knew precisely what he was feeling. My pain could have been a bridge to reach him. I could have sat down, offered him coffee, told him I'd been there, that whatever he was feeling would pass, that he wasn't alone. But I'd kept my pain sealed up like something shameful, something to hide and get over and never speak of again. Then he showed me more. Person after person I'd walked past. People who were hurting in the exact ways I'd hurt. A woman going through a divorce, just like I'd almost gone through. A teenager being bullied, just like I'd been bullied in high school. A friend struggling with depression, just like I'd struggled. Each time I'd had empathy, I'd felt for them, but I'd kept my own experiences locked away, believing it was better to just move forward and forget. I'd seen my suffering as something that happened to me, something to survive and leave behind, not as something that could be used to help others. I allowed that pain, Jesus told me, and his voice was gentle but firm, not to break you, but to prepare you. Suffering is a language. Those who've spoken it can translate for others. They can say, I know this road. I've walked it. Let me walk with you. I'd wasted it, every hurt, every disappointment, every wound. I'd clutched them tight and learned nothing except how to be bitter and self-protective, when I could have been turning around and pulling others out of the same pits I'd climbed from. The third question destroyed what was left of me. Did you show them me? The scenes came faster now, rushing at me like a flood. That cashier at the grocery store last month, she was young, maybe 19. Her eyes were exhausted, her movements slow. She was clearly at the end of a long, terrible shift, maybe several long, terrible shifts. I'd been in a hurry. I hadn't even looked at her face. I'd just grabbed my bags and left without a word. The elderly man who sat alone on a park bench every Sunday afternoon. Every single week I walked past him on my way to my car after church. He was always there, always alone, watching people go by. I'd seen him dozens of times, and dozens of times I'd walked right past, too busy thinking about what I needed to do when I got home, too caught up in my own world to stop for 5 minutes. My own daughter. Chloe had tried to talk to me 2 weeks before I died. She was upset about something at school. A friend who'd betrayed her or a boy who'd hurt her feelings, I can't even remember now. I was tired, I was distracted. I'd sat on her bed while she talked, and I'd said and in all the right places, but I wasn't really listening. I wasn't really there. She could tell. She'd given up after a few minutes and said, never mind. I'd patted her leg and gone back downstairs to scroll on my phone. Jesus showed me that he'd been in every one of those moments. He was in the cashier's exhausted eyes. He was sitting on that park bench Sunday after Sunday. He was in my daughter's need for her mother to truly see her, to be present with her. When you looked at them, he said, "You had the chance to show them who I am, to show them they matter, to show them they're seen and valued and loved, to love them the way I love them." But I hadn't. I'd been too busy, too tired, too caught up in my own concerns. I'd gone to church every Sunday, I'd read my Bible. I'd prayed my prayers and served on the hospitality committee. And then I'd walked right past Jesus again and again and again without recognizing him. I fell apart completely. These weren't tests I'd failed. They were revelations of opportunities I'd missed. A whole lifetime of chances to love and be loved, to comfort and connect, to show Christ to people who desperately needed to see him. And I'd been sleepwalking through all of it. Going through the motions, checking boxes, missing everything that actually mattered. "Kenny," Jesus said, and his voice was so gentle even though I felt crushed by the weight of truth. "Chloe still needs you. She needs to learn these things you're learning right now. Go back and teach her. Show her how to receive love. Show her how to use pain for purpose. Show her that I'm in the ordinary moments, in the everyday people, waiting to be seen." I didn't want to leave, but when he said Chloe's name, I knew I had to. The pain of returning was worse than dying. I slammed back into my body after 23 minutes of being clinically dead. Everything hurt. My head, my chest, every nerve screaming. The paramedics were working on me. David was there holding my hand, begging me to come back. His face was wet with tears, and I came back. The doctors called it a miracle. A brain aneurysm that's severe, dead for that long, I should have been gone. Or if I somehow survived, there should have been massive brain damage. But there was nothing. No explanation. The neurologist stood by my bed 3 days later and said, "I don't understand what happened to you. Medically, you shouldn't be here." But I knew why I was here. Everything looks the same now. I still work at the library. I still make coffee every morning. I still live in the same house in the same small Pennsylvania town. But nothing is actually the same. And I look for Jesus now. I look for him in the faces around me. In the teenager who needs someone to actually listen. In the elderly woman who needs someone to remember she exists. In the struggling single mom who needs someone to say, "I see you, and you're doing an amazing job." In my daughter who needs a mother present enough to truly see her and hear her and love her well. I'm telling you this story because you're still here. You still have time. Heaven is real. Jesus is real. His love is more overwhelming and complete and unconditional than anything you've ever imagined or experienced.